Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here again, and the dragons are here to help you evolve. That is their main purpose because what's happening on the planet right now has never been done before. We're being asked to be incredibly aware and conscious and spiritual and move through things that just so many people have never moved through before, like expanding our bandwidth, and the deepest sorrow is going to move into the deepest joy and allowing ourselves to feel. When we've come from an era of survival and not feeling. So, this is what the dragons are all about. And when I had my interviews with Seraphina, the dragon, back in 2019, 2020, this was what was coming through. But I didn't really get it at the time. And this has been a huge evolution for me as well. Um, so they just keep wanting to say to me, turn up every single week, be here, just show people what's coming up for the week ahead. And don't worry what comes through because we're all evolving together. This is just so much of the message. So if you believe that you are here as a pioneer, as someone to leave a legacy, who are here to educate the next generations coming through, how they are going to be so much wiser than us, so much more intuitive than us, then we need to sort of purge a lot of information, purge a lot of what's been going through. When generations look back at this generation and what we're doing right now, they're like, glory be. My goodness, how we had to shift our perspective and look at things and operate in a completely different way to how we were. It will just be mind blowing for the people that come in the next generations to look back and just go, how on earth did you even believe that that was possible? So we are in on the crux, we're on the leading edge, we are the pioneers of something that's absolutely phenomenal. So if you've been thinking and feeling, my God, this is really hard to do, I know that some of the things I was shown this week, and I'm like, whoa, that's really stretching my ability to operate in a different way. So if you're also feeling the same thing, because you know that you have a role to heal, to shift perspectives in people, to channel in a new way of operating. You are the steward of something that is coming in that hasn't existed before, the same as I'm stewarding in the dragons to help you operate in a different way and understand that. And I'm doing my bit in that as well as I'm thinking, seeing things, I'm asking questions. I'm like, please show me how to do this. I don't know how to do this. This is what this is all about. So, my name's Fiona. I am a dragon channeler, and each week I bring you messages to help you navigate the next week, to help you navigate the next incremental step of who you are being. Because the dragons keep saying to me, it's not the words, it's not the marketing, it's not the selling, it's not the strategies. It's how you are being, it's the feelings that you're putting into it, it's your intention behind that. So, this is all what they teach in how to manifest with the dragons. Because when we are opening up to all of this, when we are understanding how we start to operate, how we start to manifest, all of this is bringing us back to our soul. All of this is highlighting the gaps of like, all right, okay, yeah, I know how to do that. I know how to do it here. I don't know how to operate fully and let go and surrender into that. So last week, I was with a client, and as I was talking to her, a way to understand and to help her understand this, I was given a visual. I was given a visual of a table. And I was told everything above the table is how you operate from now on. It's what you feel into. It's the frequency and the thoughts and the way you are being. Anything below the table, no, you can't focus on that. You can't go there anymore. Anything to do with lack, anything to do with worry, anything to do with stress, that is not who you are. I was teaching her how she was already spirit, that she was already a massive percentage, because this is the evolution that we grow into being and remembering our spiritual selves and the fact that this is our meat suit and that we came here by choice to live here and operate in this way and this most exciting way of like, oh my God, so I used to do things like that. Now I do things like that. And this is the practical magic that we talk about. So the analogy that I was given to show her that she must operate, we must, you must operate now from everything above the table, everything that's above love, love and above. So you are willing to look at things and love the life you have and be grateful for the life you have. And everything is working out really, really well for you. This is a massive change. This is a massive shift for some of you, I can feel. But like myself, it's like, okay, the more we focus on this and everything that's above, the more that can come to us because it's coming from abundance, it's coming from love, it's coming from fun, it's coming from bliss. Everything that's below the table, so stress and worry and niggles and triggers and doubt and fears and hurt and shame and guilt, working too hard, being a workaholic, put my hand up to that one, everything below the table, the dragons have zero tolerance for that in you anymore because that is not serving. It is not helping you in any way. Most of us over the last few months, years, have been going through massive purges. And you might be feeling right now that that has shifted and that is no longer the case, that we don't have so many purges to have to do, so many things. And oh, yes, I'm working on it. Yes, I'm clearing that out. So now we get to shift to above the table and start operating and remembering with less words, more energy, less focus on lack and what's not working, but expanding into this is working for me. I did a video and I will link it below of showing you someone that is getting into the understanding of I am spirit, I am soul, I have support. She is there for me all the time. I will send you that link. That's part one. Part two is that you step into the incremental steps of abundance. I will put that in the link below. So you are evolving into a very conscious being. That means that you can't operate in the ways that you were operating before. You are now navigating things from a state of abundance, from a state of joy, from a state of feeling love for everything and just in awe and wonder of this world. If you have any questions to do with that, if the cards are speaking to you, but you don't really know how to operate in that, please let me know. If you're ready to go deeper with this and work on this for 12 weeks to really get into the fact, yes, I know I'm getting evidence, like I do with my one-on-one clients, I'm getting evidence. I can see that what I put out there, I'm getting back. I can see that what I'm putting out there now, I'm getting back. I'm seeing things are working out in my family. I can see that things are working out in my business. Then contact me. I will put a link down below. It's called Manifest with the Dragons. It's learning the dragon's way and how they are guiding you through so that you can receive, you can ask, you can have conversations with your soul, and you can dive in yourself and understand and decipher what the physical symptoms are, what the business symptoms are, what's going on in your relationships, and how you can move your business forward. So we're going to go into reading the messages. First of all, set an intention. What is your question? Maybe your question is simple as, what does my soul want to show me right now? Okay. The second part would be choose a number between 1 and 4 and just believe that that is something that you can work on this week. You can make that incremental step this week. Now, when I'm reading the cards, listen with your whole body. Listen through your cells, not just through your ears and your mind. Listen with the body, because you might have heard the card before, but you're now, I get that. Just see where you've evolved and see where you've grown consciously into that. And then take fourth step, take action on the message that you get. What are you doing differently this week that you didn't do last week? Now, I have journals and I log down the cards, I log down the messages, where I ask my questions, where I write the answers down to the questions. If I do a reading for someone, that's in a different journal, but this is my journal. This is how I am logging my own conscious evolution. Right, let's get into the cards and we're going to pull out card number one right now. So if you're ready, choose a number that you want, set the intention, what would my soul want to say to me, or any other question that you have, word it in a way that you can get an answer. So we are going to shuffle the cards with that in mind. Card number one is the gorgeous Seraphina. Seraphina was the first dragon. Seraphina was the first dragon that I met in a deep dive meditation, and she just turned up. She had been looking through my forehead for about a year before, looking into my world, and then she turned up and she started delivering these 64 messages that we now have in the dragon cards that I read out every week. If you want your own set of cards, there will be a link in the description as well, so that you can navigate your day. You can use the questions that I will give you the PDF for. You can use the questions and you can ask the questions of your soul, and the dragon's card will answer that for you. This week, I have my glasses. All right, so this week, the first card, number one, Seraphina. Step aside and get out of your own way. So if you're ready, let's feel that with our whole body. All right, let's feel the messages that come through. Ooh. Don't let your ego and the little things and the need to survive deter you in get in the way of your greatness. To reach your deeper intention as your personality self in your current identity and who you know yourself to be now, you need to be able to take a step aside. So if I'm doing a reading, if I'm channeling, if I'm speaking to a client, I step aside so that the information can come through. The challenge that you face now on the planet is knowing that you, dressed in your human body, chose to come to this planet to be in this space with all the changes that are happening around you. And you get to choose not to be locked down in your mind's identity with all of your familiar patterns in the survival human state. Instead, you get to learn how to expand and grow and become who you came here to be in your fullest expression with your strongest intention. You and every person here came with the intention and purpose to be able to create on this planet. The planet and population are evolving and changing into conscious creators. You must be able to change and work with it. If you want to be able to stay and play with all the vastness and with all the opportunities and experiences this planet offers, you need to be more conscious. There is a certain percentage that will never tap into that. We have to accept that. Some people around us will never, ever go on this particular journey that we are. That's okay. That's their personal journey, which is different from yours. Then there are a huge percentage who are seeking to tap into creative energy, to know themselves better, and have yet no idea of their potential. I'm talking to you here. You're a pioneer. The game is about to be changing the vibrations of the human race, who are evolving into conscious and knowing their personal connection to their soul whilst living on the planet. This is accessing powerful energy, and why you were scorched years and years and years ago, because the power you have to access was way more powerful, and it terrified and frightened the ones who had never done the inner work. The steps to integrate this practical magic include opening your mind, opening your senses, your channels of receptivity, with practices such as specific meditation, breathing, learning your own intuition and soul's language, and attending to your energy and the rituals of being in flow, aligned to the source of heaven and earth. You often see me talking about this musical clef that connects you to heaven and connects you to earth, and you are the conduit in between that life force energy. Knowing and understanding that there is a bigger part of you with access to source and the universe is here to guide you and your life and your purpose. Now you're being able to trust and feel safe and step away from your personality, your identity that you've currently maybe familiarize yourself with, which keeps you locked in and very limited bandwidth. This is survival. The limited bandwidth of survival is so small and so like a zip file. Very, very small space. And from this space, you are looking to others to tell you what to do. And you're giving your power of knowing and wisdom away. And you will lose all of your power all over again if you keep doing that. You need to tap into the power of who you are. Serafina, thank you so much for this card today. Step aside and get out of your own way. If you want your own deck of cards, there's a link below. If you want to work further to know and to work with your soul, how she can speak to you, communicate with you, it's all in the Dragon's Way, all in Manifest with the Dragons. 12 weeks, it's a deep dive, it's an incubator to really get to know who you are and what you are, how you get your own messages coming through. There we go. So that was card number one. We're going to swiftly move on to card number two with the same theme, knowing how wonderful and how great you are, moving into being a conscious creator. So let's see what card number two is all about. Wow. Okay. So we have Serafina again. Maybe this is her week this week. We'll see. See what she wants to say. So we have, again, for card number two, we have Serafina. She is all about your bigger purpose. So maybe that's what this week is all about. The spell has to be broken. The knowledge has to come through. You have a much needed knowledge that needs to come through right now. The spell has to be broken. You came here to be a pioneer, to leave a legacy, to be a legend. That's what has to come through. Things are already changing for you. The old ways don't work so well for you anymore. Enough time has passed in struggle. It's time to access your power, which is the power to create magic and miracles. Sometimes this means that you have to shift from going to work and earning money to just feeling into abundance and trusting that as your source, trusting that as your supply, trusting that the universe has your back, that your soul has your back, that God has your back. There is a whole amount of inheritance that you get as a soul that comes to earth at the moment. And you're not tapping into that. So, this is what this message is all about. The planet and the population are evolving rapidly now, and those who wish to shift into being conscious creators, to wield this power for the good, for the fun, for the play, and for the experience of feeling 100% alive, and just experiencing your time on this planet in this earthly flesh and bones as a creator of a life well lived, you can experience creation as being able to create out of energy, out of vibration, out of ether, and out of nothing. Now, you see, that's exactly what I was talking about. You may think that only to survive this world you have to wait for a handout or have to go to work and earn and a measly amount for how awesome you are. If you were God going to work, you would like this is not who I am. You need to be able to feel into just how phenomenal you are as a spirit, as a creator being, and know yourself as soul, child of God, if you want to put it that way, and that you are phenomenal. And why on earth would you settle for a measly amount? I keep saying Ron Weasley when I say measly. You can experience creation and being able to create out of energy, out of vibration, and out of ether, out of nothing. And yet, that is out of everything. Everything is possible for you when you change your frequency and when you step into the abundance of who you are. Anybody can create. There is potential to go from sickness to health. Anybody can change their focus to above the table, going back to card number one there, which was Serafina as well. When you change your focus to everything's working out well for me, I know how I'm doing, I'm focusing on abundance, I'm focusing on health, I'm focusing on wealth. Once you are clear and know without a doubt what it is that you want, once you know what the feeling and the energy of what you want is. It is as simple and as hard as that. That's a kind of a short message for one of the dragon's messages, but I think it's less is more. The less words as possible. So if I was not to say this in words, if I was to say this in energy, you may pick it up easier. You may pick it up in images that I'm sending across. You may pick it up in the energy that the energy waves that I'm sending across. Can you feel the assured, the certainty, the abundance, the expansion? Can you feel that in your heart? I did a recording just the other week of a girl who was going from thinking she was, a percentage human and a percentage soul, and then just owning the fact that she was spirit. So that's part one. And then part two moves you into the incremental steps of moving into abundance. Now, if you do that every single day, if you take that video and do that every single day, it will rock your world because you are incrementally stretching every single day into more and more and more abundance. Okay. We are going to step into card number 3. Again, just center yourself. Be aware of your intention. What is it that your soul wants to say to you today? And I will be doing a PDF of some of the questions that you can ask through to these dragon cards. The dragon cards will be down below in the comments. And if you want to take this further, then certainly think about joining or repeating even Manifest with the Dragons, because this is where your soul comes through. This is where you understand how conscious you are, the consciousness around you, how you can ask for insights, you can ask for help, you can ask for support, and you get the answers that you need. I am always asking, and my eye will be taken here, or this YouTube video will come up, or this will be answered here, or then somebody will pop into my life. Opportunities open up, windows, doors open up all the time. Okay, ready? Card number 3. We're going to pull up card number 3 on this particular theme this week. I don't believe it. I've never, ever, ever seen this before. It's Seraphina again. I've never, ever, ever seen this before, that Seraphina comes up 3 times. So card number 5, Seraphina. Seraphina is absolutely taking you right back to basics and saying, what is it that you want? What is it? What are you here for? Do not shy away from this. Seraphina, card number 5 of hers, your mind is a trap or a glorious creator. And isn't that what we're talking about? Thank you so much, Seraphina. What's above the table is what you need to focus on. All right. What's below the table is what you need to flipping forget about and not go into that. So let's just, I know this card back to front, but let's read this out so that you get a remembrance, a reminder. Don't forget, listen to it with your whole self, because this is a message from your soul for you. Your mind is a trap or the most glorious creator. Pay closer attention. Be aware that you have large amounts of information available to you in every communication. You can sense better on an energetic level with the vibrations and use the frequency of your senses to read the state of others. You can see with your eyes closed. All of this reveals far more than the mind or is yet willing to fathom or accept. I invite you to evolve and change intuitively. Start becoming a channel. Start using your telepathy, your mediumship. I strongly believe and know that every single one of us has the innate ability to read and to channel and to be intuitive. Things are already changing around you. What we've seen in your world is that without the extrasensory perceptions being accessed, your world is slipping and sliding. There is a dark shadow of survival hanging over your heads. In other words, you're under the table. Many are accepting mediocrity, and the depression takes over And people who live like this on the planet, because you are depressing out, you're stamping out, you're squashing out your soul, who only can possibly live above the table, because that's where your soul lives. She lives in joy, she lives in abundance. She absolutely does not understand or compute anything that's below the table. She's like, it's just not my world. It's just, it doesn't exist. That is the illusion. Anything below the table is the illusion. The planet itself is fine. It will always survive. It is you who choose to come and inhabit the planet at this particular magical time that has lost your mind, and it is in this sickness when it could be a gloriously different event. The mind is a trap or a glorious creator. Your imagination opens you up to so many more possibilities as the greatest creator. Imagine is being at peace with your mind and accessing the parts of your mind, the personality mind, and letting the soul infiltrate your beautiful, beautiful mind. It's the difference between experiencing night and day. If you're letting go of your overactive mind, happily losing your mind, relaxing and letting go, then you are in fact accessing the greatest potential of the mind of the universe, your higher source, and reaching into the galaxies, communicating across species and with those beings that you have never ever imagined that you could communicate with. Yeah, imagine me talking to the dragons 5 years ago. Expanding beyond the average 10% of what your brain can actually have the capacity for, and evolving into being a functioning, successful, using your magical mind is the greatest accomplishment as a great creator. Again, it's a short message from Serafina, and less is more. Say more, say less, feel more. It's your inner world that creates your outer world. This is the message that comes through to the dragons over and over and over again. Your inner world creates your outer world. If you're in complaining, if you're in, and this is the table, by the way, if you're in complaining, if you're in worry, if you're in fear, you are focusing on that, which is so boring for your soul, which makes me want to burp all that out. Which is so boring for your soul. You're so, I didn't come here to do this. I came to live and feel alive and enjoy and bliss and relationships and businesses and abundance, and bring me that. But stop, please stop focusing. Please stop focusing on everything that's below the table. That was card number 3. I'm so excited and kind of like, oh, I wonder if we're going to get card number 4. Now, I don't choose the cards, they flip out. So this week, the theme is all about the dragons come in to evolve humanity. They are here to evolve you to be a greater, greater version of you. So let's make that happen. Let's make that possible. Less words, more energy, less focus on lack, and more focus on the bliss and the excitement of everything that is available to you. So I'm just going to tune in with the general dragons. Oh, utopia this time. All right. So it is utopia that has come through for card number 4, number 57. Now she's towards the end of the journey, whereas Seraphina, the first 3 cards, are really to take you from the beginning of the journey. Now, Utopia has you at the end of the journey, and I can understand why she's given us this card. Number 57, Utopia, multi-sensory human, expanding consciously, constantly changing and having fresh new insights. Nothing stays the same. It's always a glorious pattern of how we evolve, and nothing stays the same forever. How I sold my house previously is not going to be how I sell my house this time, because in the last 8 years I have changed an awful lot. So therefore, what the methods and the practices I will be doing as I manifest with the dragons will be a fresh new start. Right, let's read this card and just see what the messages are that you get from this. Don't forget the cards, the links to having your own cards so that you can ask the questions and get guidance every single day is below, as well as the 12-week incubator where you start channeling and meeting and manifesting with the dragons using their way, their practices, and their exercises. It is such a great way to start operating in the ways of the new world. So, multisensory human, expanding consciously, constantly changing and having fresh new insights. Oh, utopia. Thank you so much. You are always expanding and adding new experiences, growing and expanding constantly, changing and having new insights. You are not meant to remain the same forever, but like a plant, you grow, you expand, you change. You are here to create new experiences, to want more and have more space to grow. And I'm being given the image now that as a pioneer, as a legacy, leaving a legend, you you are bringing in stuff that doesn't even exist now. I often say to my boys who are what are they 19 and 20 now, I say to them, what you do for work doesn't exist. What I'm doing for work did not exist when I was growing up. So the planet is continually evolving. You won't all end up working in banks, or even the kind of jobs and the way the jobs work are completely different. That's what, COVID was all about. So there's always things that are changing, and you are part of that, and that is why you are here, and we need to be flexible for that. So, like a plant, you always need to grow. Who you are today builds on the core self, but through new eyes, with a freshness and new, elaborate, expansive feelings. You grow to see a new perspective, an old situation, and observe the world from a new place, lifted off above the table. You see with new eyes and hear with new ears. You feel remarkably different inside now. You are on this world as you walk about through your day, but not of this world as you exchange and you engage from a contented, peaceful place, lifted off now from the low vibrations and density of being a human with too many worries. Yeah, everything below the table. It's a whole different world to experience as one who's seen the light, experienced the various color filters from under the rainbow, and has let go of the ties to the old world, lifted off. A whole different world is available from living on the outside when it's influencing you, from living and knowing the inside and the inner perspective. Here you are changing from having sensations brought to you from the outside. These would be your experiences of emotions brought to you from the outside, or your finances brought to you from the outside, or a love relationship that's gone wrong brought to you from the outside. Then the consequences of your reactions to these outer experiences. Your world is alive with feelings that are coming from the inside of you and traveling up through your brain to be deciphered and create a reaction then from to the outside. Your inner sense is mighty powerful and senses many things that do not yet register. You know things, you trust your intuition, and this is a different world to come to life on the inside of you first. You develop and understand with a playful curiosity and enjoy the feelings that come from the inside. You are fluent in your new language. So, for example, taking the table as the analogy here, you need to practice living above the table. You need to practice what stories you're telling, what feelings you're feeling. Say, for example, if it's finances, you need to feel into the abundance that's available for you. What's available for me? Everything's always worked out for me. There is no lack. I know that everything's always worked out for me. I know I've got access to so much more. Now, that's part two of the video series that I did when you are feeling into your own abundance for yourself. You're creating it on the inside of you. You get to know that you inherited God's wealth because all of that comes from the inside of you. And the phrase that used to annoy the hell out of me All the answers lie inside. That used to annoy me. But, can you see that that is true? What you are being on the inside is what will be reflected back to you from the outside world. It will match you note for note. This is a rather long message from Utopia. Let's see what the last bit is. And all right. Maybe you've held on to some old feelings that are really ready to leave. Maybe you've named them and recognized them as your emotions, attached a story to them and made them yours. And still you feel the painful vibration on the inside because it's held so firmly in your cellular memory. Of course, the more you worry about events and situations and memories and stories and things that maybe have not even happened yet, the more you feel them, the more you tell them over again, then they become dense vibrations and eventually solidify so that they are created in physical form. That's metaphysical for you. The repetition creates this world into form, something that matches your frequency. This comes from form in the shape of a symptom, an illness in your physical body, in your relationships and communication breakdowns, and your ongoing issues with your finances. The message is to let your feelings be as multicolored as a rainbow and safely let them flow in and out on your breath. Try not to let anyone get hooked up for too long because it makes it home in you and creates the world around you matching that frequency. No, 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 no. Stay in your own frequency. Keep telling stories and feelings that you want to feel of abundance. What are you planning? What's exciting for you? Keep growing beyond the old lower vibrations and frequencies. Be like a plant and keep reaching higher, expanding wider, understanding that you have more access to abundance and joy than ever before. Utopia, thank you so much for that card. That was card number 4. Look in the links below for any offers that are happening and accessing your own, having your own cards in your hand who can answer your questions and shift your gears every single day, whereas I'm just doing this every single week for you. All right, so there is this is Nectar, by the way. She is my dragon skull, and I will be allowing you to get hold of some of your own dragon skulls very soon. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for listening and taking care of yourself as you do this. This is self-care, weekly self-care. And this is how you take care of your soul, how you're listening to your soul, and just seeing some of the themes that would be best for you to pay attention to this week. All right. So you are amazing. You are brilliant. You are incredible. You are so wise. You are infinite. You are a pioneer. You are awesome. You are fabulous. You are love. You have got God's inheritance. You are abundant. Feel all of that on the inside of you. And I'm going to wish you a very, very, very spectacular Monday. Please set that up for yourself and a spectacular week. And I shall see you again next week.